Most people think that eating healthy means cutting foods out. But what if real health started by adding in some of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet? Here are 20 of the best, based on what the science says, as well as what I would actually recommend to my nutrition clients. Starting with a food that we can all agree on, and ending with one that no one is eating enough of. Let's dive in. Number 20, eggs. Eggs are a nearly perfect protein source with choline, B vitamins, and healthy fat. When it comes to building muscle, they are a convenient, cost-effective source of protein, good for any time of day. You can eat them essentially any way. Boiled, scrambled, you can add in extra egg whites for more protein and volume. If there are any downsides, is that some people are still fearing dietary cholesterol. That's not a huge issue, especially if you're keeping the total saturated fat in check in your diet and keeping a healthy body weight. In most cases, as long as you're not eating more than 2 to 4 whole eggs per day, you're gonna be fine. Keep in mind, egg allergies do exist, so be mindful of that. Next up, we have number 19, cottage cheese. Why it's great? High in protein and calcium, low in carbohydrates. It's the perfect slow digesting protein source for a nighttime snack, as well as muscle recovery, due to the casein protein that digests a little bit slower than other protein sources. Best way to eat, you can add more nutrients by adding fruit like berries or nuts, as well as boost the protein by adding more protein powder in. If there are any downsides, it's that the texture can be off-putting for some people, and some brands are very high in sodium. Number 18, bell peppers. Bell peppers are a great vegetable. They're loaded with vitamin C, antioxidants, and fiber, with minimal calories and a lot of water weight. They're great for eating a lot of volume, regardless of your fitness or health goals. The best way to eat, you can eat them raw as a snack or roast them with a protein source and rice in a meal. Some downsides, some people are sensitive to these type of vegetables, so they can cause some bloating. But outside of that, they're gonna be a great nutrient source for most individuals. Now, one thing you should keep in mind, as good as these foods are for their nutrients and nutrient potential and health promoting effects, it's still a good idea to track your entire diet or nutrition, because you could eat all of these individual isolated foods that are good for you and still not improve your health or see specific results, because you still need some control over your total diet and how these individual foods contribute to that. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to number 17, which is mushrooms. Mushrooms are a great vegetable source because they have immune boosting effects. They're antioxidant rich, as well as being a rare plant source of vitamin D. For anyone that needs to focus on recovery, mushrooms are gonna be great because they're gonna support immune function, recovery, or stress management. You could eat them almost any way, raw in a salad, or saute them in a stir fry, or an omelet, or a grain bowl. If there are any downsides, it's that the texture isn't for everyone, as well as they're not going to supply very much protein. Next up, we have number 16, which is going to be lean ground beef, ideally 90-10 ratio or leaner. Lean ground beef is going to be a great nutrient source because it's super high in protein and iron and B vitamins, as well as zinc and creatine. Lean ground beef is going to be great because it's going to be a high protein source that's also very budget friendly and cost effective. And you can work it into many conventional recipes or meals like cheeseburgers, tacos, meat sauce. If there are any downsides, it would probably be that it's higher in saturated fat, as well as the quality can vary. So look for local sources when possible. Up next, we have number 15, pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are great because they're going to supply you with magnesium, zinc, iron, as well as some protein, which is great coming from a plant. They're going to be a great food to support hormone health, muscle function, and sleep. And you can add them to essentially everything. Sprinkle them in yogurt or a salad. If there are any downside, it would be that it's quite calorie dense, so they're easy to overeat. Next up, we have number 14, quinoa. Quinoa is great because it's going to be a complete plant-based protein source that's high in fiber, which also makes it a slower digesting carbohydrate source. So for anyone that wants to eat carbohydrates and not spike their blood sugar, it's gonna be a great choice. Again, it's gonna be one of those foods that's quite versatile. You can add it to nearly everything, bowls and salads. Couple downsides. It can irritate your digestive system if it's not rinsed properly, as well as it might not be ideal for people that are trying to manage their overall carbohydrate intake. Next up, we have number 13, Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is going to be high in protein, calcium, as well as being a probiotic, which is going to make it great for gut health and improving your gut microbiome, as well as help you manage cravings and your overall appetite and satiety. Super versatile. You can eat it with berries, honey, and even add in more protein powder for different flavor. I honestly don't remember what life was like before Greek yogurt. I guess we used to eat normal yogurt without as much protein. If there's any downside, it's that some of the flavored versions can be super high in sugar, somewhat unnecessarily at times. So keep that in mind when you're doing some shopping. Next up, we have number 12, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are great because they're going to be high in fiber, potassium, and vitamin A, making them the ideal carbohydrate source for anyone looking to improve their body composition and bump their carbohydrates on higher carb days like refeeds. You can eat them in a bunch of different ways, roasted or mashed, as well as adding in butter or cinnamon for different flavor profiles. Since they aren't as high in protein as other carbohydrate sources, you do want to pair them with a protein so you can manage your appetite a little bit more effectively. Next up, we have number 11, avocados. Not many fat sources also come with a healthy source of fiber, which makes avocados super interesting. They're also packed with potassium, and they're a food source that's going to support healthy hormone production and long-lasting fullness. You can add them to smoothies, but also eat them in salads or even with eggs. If there are any downside, it's going to be with the higher fat content. They are calorie dense, which makes them easier to overeat. Next up, we have number 10, broccoli, loaded with vitamin C, fiber, as well as antioxidants. Those antioxidants like sulforaphane are great for detoxification, which improves your overall health. You can eat them lightly steamed or roasted. Just keep in mind that some people that are sensitive to vegetables can find that they can be bloating or have a hard time digesting them, especially if they're eaten raw or in larger quantities. Number 9, shellfish. Shellfish, like oysters, mussels, and clams, are going to be high in zinc, B12, iron, selenium, as well as being a protein source. All of these nutrients are going to boost metabolism, energy, and testosterone production. You can eat them steamed or raw with lemon. If there are any downsides, it's that allergies are common and the quality does come down to the sourcing in a lot of situations. As well as if you're anything like me, you want nothing to do with them. It's just not for me. This next food which is number 8, bison. Bison's great because it's a lean protein source that is loaded with B vitamins, creatine, as well as being low in saturated fat, especially when you compare it to lean ground beef. On a gram per gram basis, it can have 50 to 60% less fat than its comparison. Best way to eat, you can eat it in burgers or in chili. If there are any downsides, it can be a bit harder to find, although you just have to look a little bit harder for it, so the accessibility is a bit of an issue, as well as in most cases, it's more expensive. Next up, we have number 7, dark chocolate, 85% or higher. Dark chocolate, which is going to be made primarily of cow, given that percentage. Dark chocolate is going to be rich in antioxidants, as well as micronutrients like iron and magnesium. Adding some dark chocolate into your normal diet is great for cravings and stress reduction, which is going to fit in well with a flexible dieting approach. You can eat it in oatmeal or have a few small squares after a meal. If there are any downsides, it's that it's calorie dense, so it's really easy to overeat. You want to treat it more like a supplement and not like a snack. One thing to note before we move further down our list is just because something has a lot of nutrients in it, which is our entire list here, doesn't mean that it's always right. There is going to be a time and a place for other foods, like normal conventional chocolate, for example. Those foods without all the additional nutrients. There's a situation for those as well. It's all about healthy choices and overall dietary trends and patterns that add up to a healthy lifestyle. Please keep that in mind. Let's move on. Number 6, sardines. Sardines are great because they're going to be loaded with protein, vitamin D, omega-3 fatty acids, and calcium, especially when the bones are included. All of these nutrients make sardines excellent for recovery and muscle building, as well as inflammation control and joint support. You can eat them on toast or in salads or different bowls, or if you want to go full on Ninja Turtle, on pizza. Any downsides? If you're anything like me, you can find the taste and the smell off-putting, as well as it's a good idea to choose sustainably sourced options. Next up, we have number 5, blueberries. Of all the fruit sources, blueberries are gonna have one of the highest sources of antioxidants, as well as being high fiber, which is great for glycemic control, making them great for your blood sugar, as well as training recovery. You can eat them essentially every way, as a snack, in yogurt, oatmeal, or smoothies, and even frozen is more than fine. If there are any downsides, it's that they can probably get a little pricey out of season, but that's where frozen comes in pretty handy. Next up, we have number 4, which is kale. Kale has been all the rage in the last 10 years, and that's because it's a vegetable source that's packed with vitamin C, vitamin A, and calcium, but with minimal calories, meaning it's gonna give you a lot of volume, but also a lot of micronutrients. It's best to eat lightly sauteed, or if you massage it, you can put it into salads. That breaks it down a little bit, makes it a little bit more edible, which leads us to our downside, which is raw kale can be tough to digest. And spinach, which is a little bit easier to break down and tolerate, can be just as good for micronutrients, just a little less trendy. Either way, probably best to eat it cooked for better absorption and digestion. Next up, we have number 3. We're starting to round up our list here, which is salmon. Omega-3 rich, anti-inflammatory, and high in protein. Eating salmon supports muscle repair, hormone production, and you can eat it baked, grilled, or even raw in sushi. If there are any downsides, it's that the higher fat content also leads to more calories overall, and sourcing can be important, and quality can vary. So check out the sourcing and go with local when possible. That's not gonna be realistic for everyone, just something to keep in mind. Number 2, sauerkraut and other fermented vegetables. Sauerkraut is great for the probiotics, the fiber, and the vitamin K2. All these nutrients will support gut health and digestion, as well as immune support. The best way to eat it is probably cold as a side or as a topping on a salad, or make your hot dog a little bit more healthy. If there are any downsides, it can be high in sodium, as well as if you eat large portions of it, it can do the opposite intended effect, which is cause some bloating. And the last food on our list, number 1, is going to be liver. Organ meats like liver can be one of the most concentrated sources of micronutrients per gram of food. Nutrients like vitamin B12, vitamin A, iron, and copper, which will support your red blood cells, energy production, and recovery. You can eat it a bunch of different ways. Pan-sear it alone, or blend or grind it into other meat sources like burgers or ground meat. If there are any downside, it does have a strong flavor and texture, and it's probably best to eat it in moderate to low amounts due to the high level of micronutrients. You don't want to eat too much of this stuff. And that's it, folks. That's 20 of the best nutrient-dense foods that you should be eating. What did I miss? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like today's video, you're gonna love this video I've linked up right here. In this video, I'm gonna pack in 20 years of nutrition knowledge in just 16 minutes. We're talking about a PhD in human nutrition, as well as working with thousands of nutrition clients. You'll learn all of that in this video I've linked up right here. So check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.